We're going to learn a straightforward, logical approach that's going to make your certification journey towards ISO 9001 quick and manageable. I'm going to give you a step-by-step approach, which could mean that you have a certificate in your hands in as little as 6 months if you really get on with it. So let's talk about it. So right now, you're probably flat out doing your busy day job, managing your too many things. You've got your customers, product development perhaps, running the team, generally all your day job. Then perhaps the sales team have come up with an amazing opportunity for your product or service that could transform your business. It's an opportunity too good to miss, but there's one teeny hitch. The customer requires you to have ISO 9001. Is it really worth the hassle? This is where we need to break down the certification process into a sequence of small steps. So you're not trying to eat the elephant all in one go, it's bite-sized chunks. I'll explain the sequence and give you a brief summary of each step as we go. If you'd like more detail into any of the steps, then please drop a comment below and I'll make a video on it for you. So let's have a look. So let's take a look at this plan. First thing we need to do is find and engage with a certification body that's going to do your auditing and give you your certificate. These are people like, for example, in the UK, British Assessment Bureau, Lloyd's Register, I think they're now LRQA. And essentially, you pay them some money. They come in and audit you twice. They do a stage 1 and something called a stage 2. And if you comply with the standards, they give you your certificate. Okay, so you find them, you'll talk to them, they'll give you a quote. The pricing they charge depends on how big you are, how many people, what you do. And to engage with them, you write the purchase order because then you're committed to money, and that's always a good way to get things going. Once you've given them a purchase order, they will give you a date for what's called the stage 1 review. This is basically a day-long interview where they work out the status of your quality system and how much they think you've got to get in place before they do their final stage 2 audit where they test you for real. And there's probably going to be about a 3-month delay because you've got some things to do, which I'll talk about in a minute, and also their availability of their auditors. So there's generally sort of quarter of a year gap between those two things happening. The next step is your first workshop. Here you'll be looking at what's called the context. This is kind of the scope of the business, so what you do, what you don't do, what you're thinking about doing, who you might do, who the interested parties are, so that's shareholders, customers, next door neighbours, people who are affected by your organisation. That sets out the scope of your quality system, and they also want to know how you're managing risks and opportunities at the very top level to the business. You then set the quality policy, which is essentially a couple of paragraphs which meets some of the points in section 4 of the standard. Pretty straightforward, really, once you know what you're trying to do. And then they want to know, at the very top level, we identify how you plan the business, top level, strategic, looking down. Okay, so this is all one workshop. They're very related activities. You can do that in one session. Depending on the size of your business and how complicated it is, that kind of decides how long each kind of session is, workshop is. Generally, for say a 25-person organisation, this comfortably fits into a day, and it would involve most of the senior management team. Once you've done that, the next thing are to look at your operational processes. This is section 7 and 8 of the standard. And you need to identify the key processes that run in your business. You do something. A nice way to do this is using a turtle diagram. It's very easy to do, very fast way to document things, and it is auditable. Will pass the certification. And then once you identified your key processes, so you'll have a product development process if you develop products. If you provide services, you'll have a service provision process. You might not have this written down,
but it's pretty straightforward to work out what your process is, what your key ones are for your business, and then you go through the standard for each one and go, okay, does this meet the requirement? Does it have document control? Does it have reporting of non-conformance? Does it have processes for key bits and pieces? It's just a simple approach. Once you've done that, you're looking at section 9 of the standard, which is about 9.2, I think it is, which is internal auditing. Chances are you're not doing this at all at the moment because you've not been certified, you've not needed to. So in here, you'll need to come up with an audit plan. You'll need to get some training on how to do internal auditing, decide whether you're doing it yourselves or you're going to get a third party to come in and do it for you. And then you need to start actually working through the audit schedule so that by the time you get to the stage 1 review, you've got some evidence that you not only have an internal audit plan, but that you are auditing against it. So you have some audit evidence. And finally, the 4th workshop. So these, you can think of these as being a day each. The 4th workshop is something called management review. This is a peculiar meeting where you look at how well the company's processes are performing, not how well the business is performing. This is some concept is kind of difficult to get the hang of to start with. So as part of this previous step, we're going to identify what the key process measures are for your primary processes. So if you've got a service delivery process, it'll be, I don't know, a number of percentage happy customers on per ticket, or net promoter score on tickets, whatever it is. Maybe it's employee feedback for how well things are going. But you'll identify them here in this step. And then in this step, you look at how well all your processes are going. Are the internal audits happening? Are we looking at the risks and opportunities that are available to the business? Are we following the top level planning that we identified earlier? All those good things. Okay, so if you get all these done in the 3 months before your stage 1 review, then we're in a really good place. Okay, because the auditor is going to have lots to see here. And hopefully won't raise too many findings. So generally, stage 1 review, they're going to go through all the sections of the standard and ask you to talk through your processes. And you're not going to get through this without any findings, and that's absolutely fine. That nobody expects to get through this in one piece. This is more of an assessment of where you are. And they will find a bunch of things that don't conform or some observations that could be better. And your job is to act on those things as quickly as possible and the findings of your internal audits and improve your quality system based on that. Okay, it's all pretty straightforward. If this goes well and you've got all these things in place and you've got evidence to show you're following them, then we could get perhaps 2 months to the stage 2 audit. This is where you get tested for your certification and you get properly audited against all the sections of the standard. Again, it's very unlikely you'll get through this without a non-conformity of some kind because you've got a brand new quality system. You're still learning this stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's only got to be good enough. And when you fail, you don't really fail the audit. You'll have some findings, and you get a couple of months to act on those. They give you a report, and your job is simply then, as soon as you've done this, is to act on the findings. If you can do that quickly and demonstrate to the auditors that you've provided them some evidence that you've fixed the process, whatever they found, then it's party time because you will get your certificate. Happy days. After that, you're off to the races. You now have to run all these processes that you've written and have been audited against. You have to keep on doing your internal audits, and the auditors will be back again in 12 months to check that everything is good, which it should be if you keep going. So that's the basic summary. I hope you found this informative, and Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below if you want more information, what you think I should do next. That'd be smashing. Thank you very much.